On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, Nigerians are taking a cue from Venezuela and running to Bitcoin for safety. Vaultoro is the one-of-a-kind online exchange where you can trade between gold and Bitcoin. Reserves can be audited online at any time and are protected from confiscation and company failure. Sign up for a free account today by checking out the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney. Today is Thursday, the 9th of February, 2017. Got a good show for you today, so let's get into it. But of course we start the day with the market roundup, courtesy of CoinMarketCap for the cryptocurrency prices. You know, yesterday when Ripple shot up by about 15%, or was it more? I can't remember. Was it 19.5%, wasn't it, yesterday? It's now down 15.84% on about $746,000 worth of trading volume. Now, shout out to someone in the comments that actually pointed something out. I was semi-aware of this, but full credit to them for pointing this out. You know when you look on CoinMarketCap, this column down here where it says the actual token abbreviation, some of them have an asterisk next to them, some of them do not. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of CoinMarketCap, it tells you what the asterisk means. The asterisk means that that coin is not mineable. And that either means that the coin has a fixed supply or it has a flexible supply, right? So you can see Ripple has an asterisk. So what the person in the comments yesterday said, that the increase it wasn't an increase in the price so much, it was that the overall market cap increased because new coins were created. And that flexibility of supply, I think, is kind of inherent to how Ripple works. Because it's not really meant to be a currency, it's meant to be a back-end settlement layer between banks. So that's kind of key. So it's a little bit misleading when I said yesterday 19.5% increase in Ripple. It wasn't necessarily because of a spike in demand. It was because of an increase in supply and the price just didn't catch up. So that's very interesting. So that's what's happened to Ripple today. The price has recorrected or the supply has shrunk again. I don't know. But that's that. The biggest winner of the day is Augur, 10th by market cap. An Augur token is now worth $4.69. And that also has one of those asterisks next to it. See down here, 11 million rep tokens, asterisk. Augur is up 5.28% today, leaving Augur at $51.5 million market cap. So that's that. Let's go over to Bitcoin price chart and see what's going on over there. Of course, bitcoinwisdom.com for the charts. It's actually bitcoinwisdom.com that draws the chart for me, and it's drawing it based on a price feed from Bitstamp. So if you want to reproduce this, you can go ahead and do that. And you can save all your lines by signing up for an account with Bitcoin Wisdom like I do, so I don't have to redraw my lines every day. So the march up to my prediction of 1124 continues. Yesterday, we closed reasonably high up the candle, as you can see here. And today, while the candle is still forming, we have yet another new high. We've broken yesterday's high. Now, that's a sign that the run-up is going to continue. That's what I look for. In my old trading trainer, the person who taught me to trade, always used to say higher highs and higher lows. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, right? That low is higher than that low, which is higher than that low, etc. Now, the previous high was 1070, and today we've already taken out that high and set a new high of 1074.70. So it's a good $4.70 higher than the previous high. And like I was saying yesterday, based on the way we are going, based on the gains we're making on a day-to-day basis, we're still about 3 trading days away from reaching my prediction. So we'll have to check back tomorrow and see how we're getting on. Now, this is not investment advice, as ever. I don't give investment advice. This segment of the show is purely for educational purposes. But in terms of trading strategy, I would get out before the price actually reaches 1124. When you set a target, you don't be greedy. Don't try and catch the very top of the move, because that's highly unlikely. And also, they always say never try and catch the bottom of a crash. That's like trying to catch a falling knife. You don't want to do that. Now, in my trading strategy, I would get out at about $11.23.80. So $1,123.80. That leaves a little bit of room, 20 cents, for the price to turn around early. And I would also be running a trailing stop loss as these green candles are appearing to lock in profits as we go up. And that should have been happening since the price broke 950. And that would be, if I was doing the trailing stop loss, right now that would put my stop loss around 10.22. So I would have locked in already, what is that, $72 worth of profit, assuming no leverage, of course. Now, I'll be teaching trading strategy more comprehensively in my upcoming Bitcoin trading course, so stay tuned for that. Now over to one of my new favorite segments of the show, which is the Segway Forecast, like weather forecast. We are looking here at the Litecoin network to see if Segway is active. The answer is no, not yet. However, if we go down to Segway miner support, we are now 3.12%. Oh my goodness me. Now I've got a little spreadsheet that's tracking this. Yesterday we were down at 3%. Today we are 3.12%. And actually that's as high as it's been since I started tracking it 4 days ago. So that's good. Let's contrast that with Segwit on the Bitcoin network, courtesy of CoinDance. Now Segwit today on Bitcoin is 24.2%. That's down from yesterday of 24.5. Actually, the highest on record in the last 4 days since I've been tracking it was yesterday at 24.5%. And you can see today we have the week average and the daily average on Segway is about the same. Whereas Bitcoin Unlimited has, well, it's fallen in popularity today versus the last week. That's the difference between the blue block being average Segwit support over the last 1,000 blocks versus the last 144 blocks. So it's a weekly view and then a daily view. So that kind of gives us a forecast, a look ahead to see if support is gaining or losing. It's not entirely scientific because it's based on who wins the block, right? Because if you don't win the block, you don't necessarily get to broadcast your vote as what you support. But anyway, Bitcoin Unlimited is hovering around the 18.8% support line right now. So this is another thing to keep our eye on. Another quick announcement today for those of you who don't know or that aren't on any of the Cryptoversity mailing lists. Yesterday, I launched my brand new course in early access. So I was busy beavering away yesterday, making lessons for this course. And my goal was to release this on the 1st of March, right? It's like 49 lessons or 48 lessons, it says here. And I'd predicted out, planned the work, and I was like, right, 1st of March is probably when I'm going to get it finished. So I'll launch it then. And then I was like, well, I'd really like people to be consuming this sooner rather than later. So it came to me, why don't I release it in early access? So what that means is that I've stopped making the course for the time being and took the time to upload everything I've already done, which is quite a lot. If you look down here in the curriculum, all the lessons that you see here are actually available now. But the like the saving money with Bitcoin section and the bonus tips, there are no units there yet because I haven't actually created the lessons for those yet. So if you sign up for early access, what it will mean is the minute I finish a lesson and complete it, I will upload it right then and there. From one day to the next, you'll see new lessons appearing as I create them. And I think this is preferable to, spending 2 months making a course and launching it all at once, because then you have to wait 2 months for it. And if this works, if this proves popular, the whole early access thing, then I'll do the same thing with the Bitcoin trading course. I'll actually set it up on the site where you can buy it, and then I'll literally upload the lessons as I create them so you don't have to wait forever for me to finish it. So go check out Secrets of the Bitcoin Triangle, discover 21 ways to make and save with Bitcoin starting from scratch. Definitely the best course I've ever made. And also check out here, you get 25% of the course price in Bitcoin for free as part of the course. So go check that out. In terms of the news then, let's turn to the Telegraph for this article that is entitled Nigerians Run to Bitcoin for Safety and They Take a Cue from Venezuelans. So poor old Nigeria. They're having a bit of a problem with some poor leadership right now, and that's causing some economic problems. What a surprise. So let's see how they're responding to this and what I've got to say about it. So it starts out by saying the ability of Bitcoin to resist inflation Its characteristic of independence towards government legislation, among other several qualities, makes it an automatic safe haven for embattled economies. Now, I would argue that one flows from the other. Government legislation, particularly monetary policy, is what leads to inflation in the first place, right? If inflation is caused by the free market, it gets automatically corrected because the free market changes its behavior in response to higher prices, which automatically rebalances everything. And this is a gentle and very natural process. If it's left unmanipulated, which of course it never is, because human beings can't resist meddling with natural laws. So that's that. It goes on to say that youths across different cities in Nigeria took to the streets to protest against the leadership of the nation. Well, I've been thinking a lot about young people, in relation to Bitcoin. I want to make a course specifically for young people so they can begin to create their own economy outside of the old financial system, which has just completely screwed them over. I actually particularly like the idea of teaching people younger than 16 how to set up a Bitcoin wallet, how to find opportunities to earn money in the free market, how to develop the skills to be valuable in the free market, and so on. Now, in the UK at least, and I think this is true in most Western countries, you have to be at least 16 in order to get a bank account. And to me, that's absolutely ridiculous, and it's a bit insulting to young people. Like, what is wrong with a young person that means they're not allowed to have a bank account? Are you calling them irresponsible or something, right? Well, why not teach them how to be responsible and then give them a bank account? So couple that limitation of not being able to get a bank account with, say, the current generation of young people who have never known a world without the internet and never known a world without smartphones. And to me, that's the perfect recipe to show these people how to start their financial lives with personal responsibility at its core, and also with digital currency at its core. So then the article goes on to say, Nigerians are revolting against the government. At the time of writing, the exchange rate of the Nigerian naira to the US dollar in the parallel market is about 500 to 1. 500 naira to 1 US dollar. A typical example being that a 50 kilogram bag of rice, that's quite a big bag of rice, used to sell for 9,000 naira. And it's now selling for over 22,000 naira. Okay, so let's do some quick math then. 1 naira, by this calculation, is equivalent to about 0.002 cents in US dollars. So that means a 50 kilogram bag of rice used to be priced around $18. And now that's gone up to $44. So these kinds of price increases become a real problem when it relates to food. Right, it's not exactly an optional purchase that you can simply do without during a recession. You can't say, well, all right, I'll not go to the cinema so often. I won't go and eat out so often during a recession. And then I'll wait for the good times to come back. Then I'll do all these discretionary expenses again. Can't do that with food, which is when you threaten people's survival. That's when they start to protest strongly. So continuing on then, it says several reasons have been blamed for the existing hardship in the country, top on the list being the slump in the price of crude oil. Also, the economic policies of the present leadership being faulty. Now, we had this debate in the comments the other day. We were talking about Venezuela and why their economy has tanked. And there was this suggestion that the drop in oil prices was to blame in Venezuela because Venezuela exports a lot of oil. And my argument there was, okay, if a poor economy is the result of low oil prices, why was the economy still awful when the prices of oil and exports were high, right? You can't have it both ways. If the principle is that oil prices, high or low, determine the success of the economy, then that's something you can test. And it fails on the basis that Venezuelans were not exactly thriving when oil prices were high. So it doesn't add up either way, does it? And it also says here that another factor is the economic policies of the present leadership. Well, yeah, relying heavily on one thing for the success of your economy is never a good idea. But check this bit out in blue. It says, this is further emphasis by the current slump of the economy into recession, with no time in sight when it may come out, and neither does there appear to be a robust plan. Now here's my take on this. Running a country's economy is like running an enormous business, right? Money comes into the business through taxation, and it goes out in expenditure on public services. So a business has sales, a government has taxation. A business provides services in the private market. The government provides services in the public market, right? Public services, private services, sales, taxation. You can use the same management models, right? Pretty straightforward. Now, I've had this long-standing argument that says, if you have never run a successful business outside of politics, you have very little to no hope of running the economy of a country successfully. And that has proven itself to be true so many times, I've even lost count. Now, not to stir up too much controversy here, but love him or hate him, the one thing you can say about Donald Trump is that he knows how to run a big business, right? Now, I can't speak about what impact he's going to have on the rest of the country, but when it comes to the economy, you can't say he isn't qualified, because he is. And finally, right down at the bottom here in the purple, this is a comment about Nigeria is known for its tradition of extremism in whatever venture that is embraced by their people. This is why the searchlight of the tech world should focus on the sub-Saharan African nation. Okay, this is something I personally did not know about Nigerian culture, the fact that they tend to embrace whatever is fad or trend to the extreme. I didn't know that about Nigerian culture. So if there are any Nigerian natives watching the show today, I'd really appreciate it if you could give us your input on this in the comments and either verify or falsify that for us. That's what we're always going for when a claim is made. I'm actually going to speak to one of my clients whose parents are Nigerian natives, and I'm actually just going to ask him the question. I'm sure he'll tell me. But one thing I do know about Nigeria, though, is that they have a population of around 188 million people, and they have a hell of a lot of smartphones. And that provides a fertile bed of soil for Bitcoin. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From just a few dollars a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. That is all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.